We're going to do a bit of a Q&A and we'll see where we get to with the topics. The first question I've got really, which is, we've got a lot of young chefs here today, a lot of college students, and I guess they're right at the start of their culinary journey. So what was it that sort of made you realize you wanted to be a chef?
You start or? Oh, so what do you? I can say, yeah. When you realize to be a chef?
Sorry.
We got 13 minutes.
Oh, you don't want to go yet?
No, we can go.
Well, we are early, but I just thought everyone was here chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. No, I can start if you want. See, it's a question sometimes I ask myself, but I never find an answer. Two answers, in fact, not one.
Oh. A chair for Pierre.
But no, I'm fine. It's okay. Just do all it. And I got two answers. The first one is I love food. Yeah. And because I started very young, I started when I was 14 years old. And the second one is I was not good at all at school. I was quite stupid at school. So I had no choice. I had to go to be a chef. And you?
Well, that's it. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the show. And I hope they've fed you well. Good. Now, how did it start? Well, like Pierre just said, he didn't do very well out of school. I did disastrously well, bad. I left early, so I left in the March without any qualifications. And then I went to work in a hotel in Harrogate. And the truth was, it was just a job for me. I didn't take it serious. And the head chef employed me not to cook, to run to William Hill's with his bets every lunchtime. So I knew more about the horses than I did about cooking. And then I ended up falling in love with the industry. And then that's how it all started, really, by default.
Once you start, you enjoy it, and there is no return, It's a fantastic job, You got food non-stop in front of you. That's why you finish with a big belly. And life is beautiful. Huh? Yeah, lucky enough, I really enjoyed it from the beginning. So it was not a job; it was a passion. I was lucky, Yeah.
What was it that brought you to the UK then?
Sorry.
What was it that brought you to the UK?
I came to the UK in 1970. It was a shithole for food in Ghana, and I didn't come for food because it was a joke of Europe. And I wanted to see a rugby game, England against France at Twickenham. So I said, I'm going to go and find a job for 6 months in London, go to see the rugby, and after I did all my paperwork for going to Australia. And 55 years later, I'm still here, so it's not too bad. So we saw a lot of changing in food now. You can eat very well everywhere. In the 70s, only one place was good. London, you got few restaurants where you can eat properly, correctly. Outside London, it was a complete disaster. You had to drive for 2 or 3 hours to find something. But now, and thank you to a guy like him and others, you got good food all over England, Yeah.
Who won the rugby that day?
I think he was a French, but maybe I'm not so sure. I'll have to check out. 1970, so I don't know. Yeah.
One thing that both of you have had a massive impact on the industry, obviously the restaurants that you run, but also the chefs that you trained, and ultimately that becomes your legacy. Marco obviously worked for you, Pierre.
Yeah, he came in 1984. He was young, chef, properly dressed, nice haircut.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, chef.
And
years ago.
He came one day, he said, can I work for you, chef? And I said, yes, okay, Marco, you can come, And that's where he started. And one day we used to, at the time, you couldn't get anything good in England, even in 92, 94. So we had a lorry going to France every week to get the foie gras, the chicken, the duck, everything you wanted from Europe. And it was on Wednesday morning. On Wednesday morning, the guy came back and bring everything. So we had a force-fed duck, a chicken, a lot of stuff. And we're only 4 chefs, and we had a small team, We were only 4 chefs. And Marco said, normally I used to do it myself on my own, I like that. And he said, I'll do it for you, chef. And he did it as well as me. So I said, that's a good chef, so I was with it.
No, it's when I think of all the places I worked, they all contribute to who you become in the end. They all give something. But the one thing I can say, that spending time with Pierre, I learned more about food and cooking with Pierre than anybody else. And the one failing in my career was not staying with him longer. He was going to Oxford to work with Raymond, which was wonderful, but I should have stayed longer with Pierre, because when I got to Memoir, I was in a senior position, so I wasn't really learning. With Pierre, I learned every single day. And if I think back to my career now, my philosophy is like Pierre's rather than all the other cooks that I worked with. It's interesting when you look back on your career, because remember, Pierre's been in the trade 60 years. I'm knocking on the door of 50. That's a long time, isn't it?
Wow.
I mean, and how the world has changed. Wow. You used to get excited over a prawn cocktail or a grapefruit Jamaican in Harrogate in the 1970s. A melon boat, beat that. Louis.
That's one of the things, though, I think that transcends time is the impact that you have. And Marco, your book White Heat is one that is very famous with all sort of chefs. I think everybody probably has a copy. But for me, as a young chef, I read your autobiography, and where my place is in rural North Yorkshire. And at the time, I used to open the restaurant and have no customers. And I remember reading at the time when you opened Harvey's, you were like, well, Wandsworth Common isn't actually a place where people really go. But I think I read something in your book which was like, if we make somewhere good enough, people will come to it. And that's what actually inspired me, probably 25 years after you wrote the book. But nowadays, the industry is obviously facing a lot of difficulties. But I guess a lot of these things have happened before. Have you got any sort of thoughts on that? I suppose over 50, 60 years, it's not the first time we've probably had economic difficulties. It's been difficult to run a restaurant.
Yeah, there's always difficulty somewhere, but you go through it, You got bad time and you got very good time, so it's a mix of everything. So there's no point to complain. Of course, it's nice to complain. People love complaining, but at the end, if you are confident of what you are cooking, you make it. It's not a problem, You got to be careful, I was a chef. I was always in the dining room, and I only had one restaurant in my life because I couldn't run 2 restaurants like Gordon and all those chefs who they do it very well, but it was not me. So I was morning to night in a restaurant, opening and closing the restaurant, and you make it, because you got to cook the food you enjoy to eat, It's no point to cook Chinese in a French restaurant or even Italian or Spanish, So if you are confident and passionate about your food, don't look at the clock, work hard, and in a small team, it's easy, Start small. Don't start with a big idea to have a 120-seat restaurant and you are going to be the best chef in the world. It doesn't work like that. Buy a little place where you got 24 seats, make it work, and after you can develop from that. You can progress, Yeah.
Now, I remember, well, we've both seen a few recessions in our time. At this moment in time, things are very tough in the trade. And I remember it was about 1991. And we hit a really bad recession. Interest rates were sort of 15, 16%. And everyone around me was going bust. Gavroche declared losses for the first time in its history. Christian Delté, who was a great cook, he lost his restaurant at Lalican. David Cavalier, knocking on the door of 2 stars, lost his restaurant. Michel Perrault, who was the head chef of the Waterside Inn, who opened up Les Alouettes, he went bust. René Bajard, our friend, who was the head chef and my head chef at Gavroche, he went bust. And I just thought to myself, wow, and my business from doing 400 covers a week has now dropped to doing about 200 covers a week. And I thought to myself, I'll be next. And I thought to myself, and I looked at each individual restaurant, they all did one thing, all in the same boat as me, where their covers had dropped. But they all did one thing. They lowered their prices.
Yeah.
And I thought that was illogical, because I thought the people who want to come to my restaurant will come no matter what the price is. So I put my prices up by £25 a head for food. I took them to £75 a head from £50, and I survived. Yes, I was lucky. I'm not recommending that to everybody, but I was in London and I had a name and I had publicity, so I was in a fortunate position. But had I not increased my prices, I'd have had to lay off staff and I mostly wouldn't have survived. So you have to have a strategy in these times. I think that the biggest failing people can do now is put their prices up. I think cook clever, be really clever. And I think the one thing about Michelin, if you've got Michelin stars, they understand that you might have to make a few cuts. As long as you retain the standards, use secondary cuts if you have to. Just be clever with food. That's what I would recommend. Be clever.
I think that's a really, really great answer. And I think that's sort of what people would want to hear and sort of know about. But I think it's also great to see the test of time, that it is quite doom and gloom at the moment. But like you say, been there before and got through it and got further. So it's brilliant.
But lots of great cooks didn't get through it. Like the chefs I just mentioned, 2 of them had been head chefs of 3-star Michelins. Pierre survived, but Pierre he always delivered the best food in London.
Yeah,
and at lunchtime,
we
the best
look
deal.
at attracting young people, Yeah, young at the time, I'm talking years ago, young people like you, they were scared to go to a restaurant, because they don't know which spoon use, where all of the things, anything like that. And that's what they saw, a napkin on the table, too much for them. But we tried to go against that thing. So we make sure there were some wine at a very good price, they can afford it, all that. So you got to be careful on charging. It's very interesting when you plan a menu. You got to plan it. You got to balance it. You cannot go everything very expensive. Sometimes you got to put a dish a bit more expensive because they say you use truffle or caviar. Now it's everywhere, caviar. But make sure you cannot charge the full price because it's really crazy. But you make it on something else, So you got to learn how to balance your menu, and don't overstaff your restaurant. In a restaurant, we are only in my restaurant we are only 4 chefs. That's all. But
Including yourself. Including yourself.
Yeah.
And we would do in the old La Tante Claire, you'd do 80 covers a day.
Yeah, easy, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Which before it was hard work.
Yeah.
But it was intelligent food. Yeah. And it wasn't overworked. The problem with a lot of food today, I find, it's overworked. The emphasis is on the presentation rather than the eating. And you watch these food shows, you see that but by the time they finish the dish,
we never work with tweezer. It's a waste of time, a tweezer, yeah. It's dangerous tool, yeah. All those things.
Fingers are for burning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We ban in my restaurant, was no clock, no tweezer because it didn't exist at the time, the tweezer. No probe to check, Everything you have to do it by touching, to learn the proper way. Yeah.
I can imagine. I cannot imagine you with a pair of tweezers, chef.
No, never.
I couldn't, seriously. No, but it's about the eating. And that's what Pierre showed me. It's all about the eating and having confidence in simplicity. But if your foundation is intelligence, the best.
Let's talk about spuds. So you said you only run one kitchen, Pierre, but now you're in every kitchen.
Yeah, but just my picture, So maybe it's boring for some people to see that guy. But we started the potato because when I retire, and it's a bit boring when you retire. There's nothing to do, and my passion was cooking, was food. So with my brother-in-law and wife, we decided to sell potatoes. So, and that's it. And he keep me busy, like sometimes 3 days a week, sometimes nothing, but it depends. But they keep me busy, it's good, yeah. But the big specialist on the potato is my wife, you know. And as a chef myself, you know, I know how to cook them. But she's a LaRouche of potato, my wife. If you want to be bored with potato, you ask her to talk, yeah? She keeps you awake for an hour, huh?
Well, this was going to be my question. So, my pub won the best Sunday lunch in the country, which was sponsored by Koffmann's Potatoes, and the prize was 120 sacks of potatoes, which is a great prize.
That's a proper prize.
Yeah, amazing prize.
That's a prize worth having.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time making potato dishes this year. What's your favorite potato dishes?
Oh, there is some. You go from mashed potato to French fry, of course, the classical one. But everything is good. Gratin dauphine, everything is good when it's properly done. When you use the right potato for the right job, you know. Like at the moment, there is what is called the new, the one, the one from France, the rat, la rat, who is a French potato, but now we grow it in England. So it's an English la rat, who is exactly the same. It's a beautiful potato now, yeah. One of the best, you know. But there is so many things, you know, with potato. Just a boiled potato with a lot of butter and some salt, you make a meal. So, you know, yeah.
What's your favorite potato recipe, Marco?
It depends on the dish I'm eating. So if for example, I was eating Pierre's pied cochon Culinary, I'd have a delicious pomme puree.
Yeah.
It works, the texture.
Yeah.
It works well with the dish. If I'm having curry d'agneau, rack of lamb, give me a gratin dauphinoise.
Yeah, a boulangère. Yeah.
Depends, you know. Same having a piece of turbot or bourguignon.
That's right. What is important is to choose the right potato for the right dish and at the right time of the year. Because, you know, you got the story of King Edward is the best cooked potato. It's a good potato, but at a certain time of the year, not for 12 months of the year, is not. So you got to choose the potato according at the time of the year. Yeah.
Perfect. Anybody want to ask a question from the audience? Wow, a man right back there. You're going to make me work, aren't you? Go on then.
He's very tall.
Yeah.
He should have a stool, not a big chair like that.
My question is, if you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
You're asking Pierre or I?
Both.
One thing, you cannot eat one thing for the rest of your life. Now, I got a dish I hope to eat the day before I die, if I'm in good shape, you know, I'm not so sure about that. It would be a bouillabaisse. That would be my last meal, you know. A bouillabaisse and with a fish dish with a bit of potato inside, but not too many. And a nice bottle of wine, you know. Yeah.
I think I just settled for a bottle of Moot and Rothschild's 1961.
Eating's cheating.
Nice bottle of wine, I think that's it.
Fair enough.
But bouillabaisse is one of those great dishes, and again, it has potatoes in it.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Oh, how are you guys? You're not going to get this opportunity again. Oh, on the front row.
Pierre, it's me, Philip. Looked at figured out Will and Jack from Fallow Restaurants in London. So it's been documented that you've had quite the say in a couple of their restaurants and their menu with, say, their chicken head pie. What drew you into two young chefs from...
There is a lot of good restaurants in London. I got a favorite, you know, and it's called Perilla. It's Stoke Newington. The guy is brilliant, Ben Marks. He's a very good. He never worked for me, but still he's brilliant, the guy. So that was my number one. But there is so many choice, you know. Now he's open. It's not like in the 70s where it was all rubbish, you know. Now you can eat everywhere well in London, as well, maybe better than Paris or the rest of the world. So, yeah. We are lucky.
Someone back here, who was it?
Yeah? You say chicken head pie?
So, out of any chef that's dead or alive, which would you choose to work with?
What did you say? Yeah. The chicken pie is a good thing because that's a group of having a restaurant called Fallow, and they bought a different place, and just at the back, and it's a chicken restaurant, and every month they invite a chef to make a menu, which is a good idea. But it's not only chef, in fact. So it can be once we had a musician, I don't remember the name. So I was the first one to be invited, and so I put a chicken pie and I don't remember what 3 dishes I was. And the chicken pie is chicken pie. You know, it's not a rocket science to do chicken pie. But the only thing I did, I stabbed the neck and tipped the head outside. So visually, it was interesting, and some people find it shocking, you know. But he went mad. He was on TV and so on and so on. Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
So, out of any chef who's dead or alive, who would you like to work with?
So I think the question was, out of any chef, dead or alive, who you haven't worked with, who do you wish you'd worked with?
I don't think I will. Nobody. No, not especially. First, you say they are dead. But the only thing I would have loved to do is to go to spend time in Japan, to work in Japan, because those guys are so precise of what they are doing, the respect of the ingredient, the respect of the knife. You know, I had some few Japanese chefs in my restaurant, and every night before, when the job was finished after service, they were all sharpening their knife in good shape. So I would love to spend time in Japan, but after to work with chef, no, not especially, no. Because I've got bad character. I got a terrible character, so I wouldn't support to somebody. Well, the reason why I'm a head chef is because I'm a head chef, you know. So I cannot support anybody to give me orders. Yeah, so I can't. So I don't think he will work with me. Yeah.
I suppose I would have to say Mac Menot. I liked Menot when he was in his prime at L'Espérance. I like Gerard. I like the simplicity of...
There are some fantastic chefs. He's not a critic, but to work with them, no. Because I like to cook the food I eat. That's why I want to cook. I don't want to copy Mac Menot or all those fantastic chefs. They do their own food, and I do my own food. Yeah.
I think it's a really good answer. The Japanese point's really interesting, because you said when you came to the UK, food was, I think you said, shit, which, fair. But nowadays, obviously, and for your time, it was very French influence. It was the French influence that brought up the standard of UK cooking. But actually, when you see a lot of the chefs nowadays, that French classic background is there, but Japanese food has a massive influence on our country now.
It's mainly the respect of the ingredient and the tools. You know, we recognize a good worker by the tools. We said, I don't know, you say that in English, but in France, said you recognize a good worker by how he looked after his tools. And the Japanese are the top of that. Yeah,
it's a real craft.
Yeah.
So going back, so we've sort of had French. The influence of the French food, then we've had molecular gastronomy, and then we've had this sort of new Nordic wave, lots of Nordic influences and Japanese influences. What are the things over the years that you've been particularly impressed by?
What I'm impressed, I like, or what I will love, is to see an English chef cooking English food, to turn it into top-class food. That will impress me. And sadly enough, it doesn't happen, because all English chefs, they like to cook French or Japanese or Chinese or that. I don't understand why not an English chef put his brain on doing something with classical English British food, because there is some fantastic ingredient in England, and why you go do it, you know? Yeah. But everything is good when it's well done, eh? So.
That's never more true.
Yeah.
Is there any things, if you'd have had your restaurants in this sort of era, are there things that you see now which excite you and you think, if we'd have had that in my time, I'd have cooked that? Or
Yes, sometimes I go to a restaurant, I'm amazed by a chef what he's doing. Of course, yes, I do. But like I said, I go quite a lot to restaurant where the owner, he run a little place, he owns the place, he's cooking the food he likes, and I admire his food, he's working hard, he's fantastic, the guy, and he never worked for me. I mention always Perilla restaurant, because if you got a chance to go to Stock Newington, you go to Perilla, you see the guy is absolutely brilliant,
I went to a Michelin-starred restaurant the other week, and what I got was a masterclass in technical ability. It wasn't food I wanted to eat. So the emphasis is on their technical ability, not the art of eating. Overworked, food was tepid. It confused me more than impressed me. I like simplicity. And that's why Pierre, in my opinion, is still one of the best today. Because you get what you order. It's not sort of fuss and fluff. Do you like that? Good boy. Sir, you've got a question.
Your question? Yeah.
You don't like fluffy food, do you?
No,
You didn't get that big by eating those small portions, did you?
First, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be here. We are so...
Omar, you're charming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. My question is, what was the turning point that took your restaurant from good to a world class to be in that place?
I'm very simple. For example, what I saw with Pierre over the years, because I remember the very old Tanteclair, and then I saw the new Tanteclair. I saw it go from 2 to 3. Then I saw Koffmann at the Barclay. What was beautiful was watching something become more refined. And as the confidence of a chef grows, what happens is the simplicity shows. And with Pierre, I go to Pierre with my girlfriend, and we would have a turbot for 2 on the bone, poché, beurre blanc, pomme vapeur. When you can cook a turbot on the bone to perfection, and then it can be filleted in the restaurant's perfection with the perfect beurre blanc, which is mostly my favorite sauce of all time, with pomme vapeur, answer me a simple question. What more do you want? When you've allowed something to be what it's meant to be. What confuses me in this world we live today is what I got 2 weeks ago. I sat there confused and thought, is this what Michelin's become?
Now you see a lot of young people, they cook, and you got 6, 7 different stuff on the plate, and I only talk about myself. I don't know what you are eating, where the taste come from. I think you got to have one main ingredient and maybe 2 garnish, and the sauce or something like that, doesn't matter. And that's it for me, it's perfect. But when you see those TV programs, Chef of Britain, and those poor guys, I say, the manager, they are fantastic, because in 2 hours, what they are doing, I say, fuck, I couldn't do it myself, because, and they work with tweezer and water bath and everything they got there. And I say, how they can manage to finish a plate like that, there is 7, 8 different stuff on the plate, And for your palate, it must be fantastic. You must have a fantastic palate. And you can recognize all those, you can enjoy the main course with all the garnish, who kill all the rest, so.
There's only one way to describe it. It's more Jackson Pollock than it is Picasso, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because ratios are all wrong as well. You look at ratio of protein to garnish to sauce, it's wrong. It's about the presentation, not the eating. And like when I was with Pierre at La Tanteclair, what was very obvious was generosity was your presentation. Now let's look at the technical ability, where you can put a piece of turbot on a plate with some perfectly cooked noodles and seasoned, and a sauce moutarde. Delicious. Or the turbot with the wild mushrooms. Just simple, intelligent. You can taste the sea and you can taste the woods.
At the moment, we got grouse. I love grouse. So what is the grouse? It's a roast bear on a piece of bread with all the liver and heart on it. Bread sauce, the bread crumbs, I don't really, that's not well. A beautiful jus on the bone. You got it to have on the bone. That's perfect. Now you go to a restaurant to eat a grass. Fucking hell, what you done? It's not a grass. And you got some flour. It's only one breast. Sometimes it's only one breast. I say, where is the other one? Or the leg are not there. Why is the leg less? Grass. What is it? The season? And they got the breast. And they put little flour and a decoration. I don't enjoy it. What do you complicate something where it's such a beautiful dish? Why do you complicate it? It's a bit crazy, but we are a different generation. He's younger than me, but he's maybe young people. They got to do what they like. That's the way it works.
The reason why I asked that question originally about these different eras of food is actually it all comes back around to the classical things are what lands the test of time.
Yeah. As long as you know the basic, you got to learn the basic. How to make a fond de veau, a fish fond de poisson, chicken stock, few different sauce béchamel, béarnaise, all those things. And after, once you know those things very well, you can do a lot of different things. You can work, Yeah.
No, you asked me a question that we were talking, Chef and I were talking earlier. We were talking about a certain restaurant and why it never got 3 stars in Michelin. And I worked in that restaurant. The cooking was 3 stars, but it was overworked. If you're cooking just one plate, then it's fine. But when you're doing a service with 70, 80 customers, it starts to break down. And the more you put on a plate, the less chance you have of creating perfection. It's as simple as that. But most people want to sort of be blinded by their own emotions, by overworking food. Keep it simple. So, like Pierre, the pied de cochon, facile mori, riz de veau, beautiful mori sauce, pomme puree. What more do you want? Allow your generosity.
When you go to a restaurant, you got to do the dish you like to eat. Like the example is the pied de cochon. When I opened Tante Claire in 77, the English are not going to eat pied de cochon. I can tell you, he was against the law. But I put it on, and some people, they talk about it. It's like your pie with a chicken head coming out, the same, You got to do dish where he marks the people, he attacks the people. It's very important. If you do a steak béarnaise, how many restaurants do a steak béarnaise? It's too many, it's a lot, So do what the food you enjoy to eat. Maybe do not copy the other chef, Do what you think is in your heart, Yeah.
So Marco, you were youngest 3-star chef, but also people, it's even now, you see how many people are queued up. It's the biggest crowd we have of the day. People wanted to know all about you, and you managed to create a brand, whether that was something you wanted to do or not. But nowadays, every chef has to be on social media. Every restaurant has a page. You've got to create content every day. Would that not have been box office if back in the day you had a content creator at Harvey's every day? I imagine you'd have had millions and millions of followers on social media.
Have you seen my phone? Come on.
I think that probably answers the question. So you wouldn't have been doing TikTok dances there.
I think what's important is if you think of Pierre, let's use Pierre as the example. Pierre became famous globally for what he put on his plates, not for what he put on Instagram or TikTok. So that's everything. So be famous for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. It's like most chefs on TV. They're there for their personalities, not for their cooking abilities. And I watch chefs on TV all the time. With the exception of Gordon, the rest of them have terrible technical ability. It's a good job we can't taste it. I've got nothing more to say. Have you got any more to say, Pierre? Apart from enjoy the rest of the show. Safe journey home. And anybody wants a photograph with Pierre, he's here. I said, anyone wants a photograph, you're here.
Well, thank you very much, Marco and Pierre. Amazing to have you. A great insight, and thank you very much, Marco, Pierre White, and Pierre Koffmann, everybody.